इस वीडियो को हिंदी भाषा में देखने के लिए सेटिंग्स में जाकर हिंदी ऑडियो चुनें। Namaskar and welcome to Simplify Your Space. Back in February, I had shared a video on meal prepping and I was so happy to see how much you all loved it. So today I'm back with another brand new meal prep video for you. Weekly meal prepping is very important for me. When I take out a little time over the weekend to prep some ingredients and finish a few kitchen tasks in advance, it makes cooking for the upcoming week, sometimes even 10 days, so much easier. Lately, it has been especially helpful as life and routines have become a bit more hectic. So let's get started with this week's meal prepping. Last night, I soaked moong dal, chickpeas and rice and dal for dosa batter. This morning, I drained the water from the moong dal and transferred it to a sprout maker to let it sprout. I also added the soaked chickpeas to my electric pressure cooker to boil. I had soaked a slightly larger quantity of chickpeas because I plan to use them for 3-4 different dishes. They will take about 40 minutes to cook, so in the meantime, I will finish the rest of my prepping. Next, I am going to grind the dosa batter. I do have a wet grinder for making batter. I've shown it to you in several of my previous videos, but recently I received a lot of comments asking me to show how to make the batter using a regular mixer grinder since not everyone owns a wet grinder. For this batter, I have used 1.5 cup of dosa rice, half cup of regular boiled rice, the kind we use at home, half cup of whole white urad dal, 1/4 cup or 3 to 4 tablespoons of poha. I washed everything thoroughly and soaked it overnight. But remember not to use the same soaking water for grinding the batter if using a mixer grinder. Now I will grind this in small batches in the mixer jar. I am adding a bit of cold water from the fridge to help with the grinding. You can also use ice cubes if you prefer. Now I will grind the batter on pulse mode gradually. If you grind it at full speed right away, the mixer generates heat which affects both the taste and color of the dosa batter. It tends to turn yellowish and does not taste as good. Once the batter reaches a smooth, slightly fluffy texture like this, it's ready. In South India, people usually prefer using a wet grinder because it grinds the batter slowly on stone for 30 to 40 minutes, keeping the batter naturally white and preserving the authentic taste. Mixer grinders, on the other hand, grind quickly, which generates heat and can affect the final flavor. That's why it is always recommended to use cold water or ice cubes while grinding dosa batter in a mixer grinder. Traditionally, rice and dal are ground separately, but some people, including myself, prefer grinding everything together to save time. Always use a large container for fermentation, leaving at least half the space empty. During fermentation, the batter rises and almost doubles in volume. I have divided mine into 2 containers. Since it's summer right now, I'm leaving the batter outside to ferment. But if the weather is cold, you can place it inside the oven or microwave turned off to provide a warm environment and help it ferment properly. And yes, once you're done making the batter, make sure to wipe down your mixer grinder from the outside as well. Now I'm going to make bread. I do have a bread maker at home, which makes the process super easy and mess-free. But I have received so many comments from you saying we don't have a bread maker, but we do have an oven. Can you show us how to make bread in that? So today I'm sharing a very simple bread recipe with you. For this, we will need 280 ml of warm milk, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of olive oil or any vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of salt. I am also adding 1 tablespoon of flax seeds, but that's totally optional. You can skip it if you like. Next, add 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast to the mixture. Stir everything well and cover it. Let it rest for about 10 minutes so the yeast gets activated. While that sits, let's measure the flour. I am using half all-purpose flour, maida, and half whole wheat flour. If you're a beginner, I would recommend starting with the 50-50 ratio. It gives you a soft and fluffy bread. So here I've taken 210 grams of maida and 210 grams of whole wheat flour. Once you are more comfortable with bread making, you can even switch to using 100% whole wheat flour. Just remember, to get perfect bread, it's really important to measure your ingredients accurately. It's been 10 minutes and the mixture has become bubbly, which means the yeast is now active. Now we will add the all-purpose and whole wheat flour to it and mix everything together. Wet your hands slightly and knead it just enough to combine all the ingredients well. You don't need to knead it too much, just mix until everything comes together. Bread dough is usually softer and stickier than regular roti dough. Now shape it into a round ball like this, cover it and let it rest for about 30 minutes. While the dough is rising, we will move on to the next prep task. First, I am going to boil a few potatoes. And alongside, I will be making podi, also known as dry chutney powder or gunpowder. It tastes amazing with dosa, idli, and even with plain dal and rice. If you don't feel like making a fresh chutney every time, just serve your idli or dosa with this podi. It tastes just as delicious. For this, I had washed and kept half cup of chana dal and half cup of urad dal out to dry earlier in the day. To make the podi, first heat a pan and add a little oil. Lightly roast both the dals until they turn golden brown. Remove them into a bowl. Now take 10 to 15 garlic cloves, roast them in the same pan and set them aside. Next, take half cup of sesame seeds and dry roast them. Similarly, dry roast a few curry leaves, 8 to 10 dried red chilies and a small piece of tamarind. Finally, take 1 or 2 tablespoons of dry coconut powder and lightly brown that too, then add it to the same bowl. Let everything cool completely. Before grinding, add salt to taste, a pinch of turmeric and a little bit of hing. Grind the mix coarsely, not too fine. This podi can be stored easily in an airtight container for up to 2 months. It's been 30 minutes since the dough was set to rest. Now I will gently knead it again, shape it into a round ball and cover it to rest for another 1 hour. Bread fermentation takes time, so yes, a little patience is definitely needed. One important thing to keep in mind while meal prepping, always start with the items that take longer to prepare. The idea is that while these time-consuming items are getting ready in the background, you can work on the smaller, quicker tasks alongside. This helps save a lot of time overall and makes your prep much more efficient. We also have quite a lot of raw mangoes at home and they've started to ripen. So I'm going to make a quick and easy sweet and tangy raw mango chutney. It tastes amazing with parathas. It's very simple to prepare and comes together quickly. I have washed, peeled and chopped the raw mangoes into large pieces. Now in a pan, heat some mustard oil and add a little mustard seeds, hing and 2-3 dried red chilies. Once they splutter, add in the chopped mangoes. Saute for a couple of minutes and then cover and cook for 5 minutes until they soften slightly. Once they're a bit soft, add salt and a little water and let it cook for another 10 minutes. The chutney is almost done now. I'm going to add a bit of jaggery. You can also use sugar if you prefer. I have added only a small amount of jaggery because these mangoes are already a bit sweet and I want the chutney to be nicely balanced, not overly sweet. If you like your chutney spicier, you can also add a little red chili powder at this stage. The chutney is ready. I will let it cool completely and then transfer it to a large container. It can be stored in the fridge for up to a month without any problem. After 1 hour, look at the bread dough. It has almost double the size. Now lightly dust a flat surface with some flour and transfer the dough onto it. Apply a bit of oil on your hands and gently flatten the dough using your palms or a rolling pin, just like you can see on the screen. Next, roll the dough into a 3/4 log and tuck in the bottom edge neatly. Smooth out the sides a little to shape it evenly. Now take your bread loaf pan, line it with parchment paper and grease it well with oil or butter. Place the dough into the mold and brush a little butter on top. This helps give the bread a nice golden color and shine after baking. At this stage, you can also sprinkle some seeds on top if you like. Now let the dough rest again until it rises enough to slightly peek out from the top of the mold. To speed up the rise, you can also place the mold inside your oven or microwave turned off where it gets just a bit of warmth, perfect for proofing. The potatoes are boiled now. I have taken them out of the water and set them aside to cool. I had a little spinach left at home, so I am going to blanch and puree it for later use. First, wash the spinach thoroughly and cook it in a little water for 5 to 6 minutes. Then immediately transfer the boiled spinach into cold refrigerated water. This step keeps its green color vibrant and prevents it from turning dark. Once it's cooled, I will blend it into a smooth puree and store it in a container in the fridge. This spinach puree is great for making instant palak paneer, or you can knead it into dough for puris or parathas. It's a great way to sneak spinach into your child's meals without any fuss. The chickpeas in the pressure cooker are also done. I am going to strain a portion of them separately to make hummus and aloo chole tikkis. To make hummus, we first need to prepare tahini, which is made from sesame seeds. So here I have dry roasted 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. Let them cool and now I will grind them. First dry grind the seeds and then add a little olive oil and grind again until you get a smooth paste. That's our tahini ready. For the hummus, take 1 cup of boiled chickpeas and add 4 to 5 garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of tahini, fresh lemon juice, olive oil, salt to taste. Also add a little of chickpea cooking water to help it blend smoothly. But don't add too much as hummus should be slightly thick in consistency. Once blended, the hummus is ready. Transfer it into a clean container and store it in the fridge. It stays good for up to 1 week. I personally love spreading it on my toast. It's super healthy and delicious alternative to regular spreads. Let's check on the bread dough now. Wow, it has risen beautifully and quite quickly. Good that I place it inside the microwave. I'm brushing a little more butter on top. I have already preheated the oven to 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Now I will bake the bread at 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. While the bread is baking, I will prepare aloo chole tikkis. I have taken the boiled chickpeas I had set aside earlier and am mashing them lightly with a masher. The mixture should remain a bit coarse. Next, I am adding the boiled and mashed potatoes, mixing everything well. Now I will add in some chopped onions and fresh coriander leaves. For the spices, I am using a bit of red chili powder, garam masala, amchur, a pinch of turmeric and salt to taste. To bind the mixture, I am using rice flour, but you can also use all-purpose flour or corn flour, whatever you prefer. Mix everything well until it holds together. I have not added green chilies because my son does not like them, but you can definitely add some if you prefer a spicier version. Now I am shaping small tikkis out of this mixture and placing them in an airtight container. These are perfect for breakfast sandwiches or wraps. Just take them out about 30 minutes in advance and either air fry or shallow fry as needed. All the tikkis are done and I will now store the container in the freezer. I have kept a small portion aside to make a few tikkis right now. I am air frying them so my son can have them as his evening snack after school. Look at how crispy and golden they have turned out. Just perfect. And yes, if you don't have an air fryer, you can also make these on a tawa or shallow fry them in a pan. And look, our bread is ready too. I am taking it out of the oven and placing it on a wire rack to cool completely. It's very important not to cut the bread while it is still hot or it won't slice properly and may get ruined. Let it cool fully before slicing. It usually takes about an hour. From the boiled chickpeas I had earlier, I am going to take a portion and use them to make chole pulao for dinner tonight. The remaining chickpeas will be strained and transferred to a container, then stored in the fridge to use later in the week, perhaps for chole chawal. Just a tip, if you want to store boiled chickpeas or rajma in the fridge for the week, always separate them from the water before storing. You can still use the leftover cooking water while making rice, dal or curries. It's full of flavor. And look at the dosa batter. It has fermented beautifully and is ready. I will mix it once and then transfer it to the fridge. This batter stays good in the fridge for up to 5 days. I personally prefer to add salt right before making the dosa, not while storing the batter. While the bread is cooling down, I am going to prepare dinner, which is chole pulao. Today I am making it in my electric pressure cooker. I have added a little ghee to the pot, then added a bay leaf, black cardamom and cumin seeds. Next I am adding sliced onions. Once they are slightly golden, I have added chopped potatoes and 1 green chili. Saute it for a bit, then add some ginger garlic paste and cook until the raw smell goes away. Now I am adding chopped tomatoes followed by 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of chole masala, a bit of red chili powder. Give everything a good mix, then add the boiled chickpeas. After that, add the rice. I am using basmati rice here. For 1 glass of rice, I am adding 1¼ glass of water. Season with salt to taste and that's it. Now I will put on the lid and set the cooking timer for 9 minutes. Meanwhile, I am also making simple sweet sevaiyan. It's been a long time since I had it and I was really craving it today. I will prepare bundi raita just before serving because I personally like my bundi nice and crunchy when I eat it. dinner is ready and now let's slice the bread. Always remember, bread slices well only once it's completely cool. Look at this, soft fluffy bread, and that too with minimal kneading and effort. So that wraps up today's meal prepping session. If you would like to watch more videos on this topic, you will find the playlist link in the description box and on the I button above. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and share, and subscribe to Simplify Your Space for more content like this. I will see you all next week. Until then, happy homemaking from Simplify Your Space. Bye bye.